After hearing about Skunkworks falling apart and having a role in the largest split in BSI's history, I started to think about what these orgs had in common. How can two of the largest orgs in Star Citizen crumble overnight? Before I get to my main points, I need to lay out some groundwork, some context for what Star Citizen is and what are orgs for those who don't know. There's going to be timestamps in the description for each section of the video. To oversimplify it, you could say Star Citizen is like a GTA in space, an MMORPG GTA in space. It has a single player and a multiplayer, quests and missions ranging from bounty hunting to cargo hauling. You can do whatever you want. Fly from one planet to another, fly from one moon to another solar system, kill whoever you want to kill, save whoever you want to save, all without any loading screens. Something that Starfield couldn't do. Currently, Star Citizen is in alpha. More courageous people might say it's in pre-alpha. The main thing is that it's not fully released yet, with just over 700 million crowd-funded. Now this is where issues with Star Citizen players begin. With the game still in alpha, the majority of the game's features are incomplete or not even implemented yet. You can experience everything the game has to offer in a single weekend, which doesn't justify players dropping thousands and thousands of dollars on the game, right? Unless you play with an org. Orgs is short for organizations. The more common name in other games are clans or guilds. Orgs are the backbone of the Star Citizen community. If you need help with a time-sensitive mission, or you need some in-game money, an org will help you. But if you cross an org the wrong way, they might mass report you, call you a griefer, or worst case, may even attempt to harm you outside of the game. Orgs are a blessing and a curse. With the majority of the players playing in orgs, you'll get the best and the worst of people, just like outside of the game in real life. But unlike your office job, games are meant to be fun, a hobby, a way to unload after a long day of work. Instead, we're seeing again and again, people are bringing their inflated egos into the gaming communities. I'm an officer in the army, so I know what's best. Excuse me, how can you honestly believe you know what is meta or the best tactics? You don't even play the game. FYI, video games and real life are two different worlds. Just because something might work in real life doesn't mean it will work well in a game. Or better yet, this is my walled garden. Huh? We are not your playthings. We are not toys for you to manipulate or your petri dish. If you want to lead and run a role-playing org or your own madhouse studio, that's fine. You do you, but advertise it accordingly. Moreover, when you have orgs who are extremely petty, for example, you have some people who will say, we only fight people that have crime stats. We don't bother people who are doing lawful missions, but then they'll just as quickly jump you when they think they have the upper hand. You're fighting on site just like any other PvP orgs. You're not any better. You're not morally superior. There's common trends with these orgs. One of them is the leadership being vacant, which leaves a huge void in day-to-day activities of these groups. And of course, someone will step up and start running things. But then what happens when the missing leadership returns? Now you have conflicting interests between the old guard and the new. And the inner turmoil will only get worse over time, to the point where different cells will start to form in the community. If you're going to step away for an extended period of time, you need to be flexible and adapt to the changes in your environment. If you can't do that, then maybe you should let someone else manage the community. Now, if only there was an org out there that isn't a dictatorship, that lets you play the game how you want to play it, an org that is competitive in any game, an org that is BS free.
'Cause we lost everything. We had to pay the price. I saw in you what life was missing. You lit a flame that consumed my hate. I'm now on for reminiscing, but I traded